Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. We brought on a new producer whose last name is Manning, and Mexico, well, it was kind of a shit show because of our planning.
You're so stupid. You just rhyme anything together.
You just bring it in.
Just anything.
Bring it in, and we've got it good. We could have also said, you know what I mean? We got to get ready for our Mexico trip, so let's start tanning. But it didn't go exactly the way we planned because we were not very good at planning.
I like that one.
See, there we go. That's good. All right. So, anything else? Oh, you love that. What was that one show that you love with the girl named Dakota Fanning? Let's talk about this episode where we fucked up our planning. Anyhow, we're back from Mexico. It was a fun trip. We were able to salvage it, but boy, there was some frustration in there that caused us to say, we need to rethink this. Mm-hmm. I can start it off, but I feel like you, with your senorita dress and your Kelly Kapowski hair.
Is my Mexican really shining right now?
It is. It's Odele Poising.
Thank you.
So talk to us about the trip. What do you want? What's on your heart there, girl?
Yeah. He's on a roll today.
Hey.
Our lack of planning made our trip go south. Aha.
Wow, you're on one too.
Thank you.
Let's go.
And bringing a kid along, is different than going on vacation just you and I or with some friends.
Sure.
Because we need to plan stuff. Because she's like, "What are we doing today?"
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
And there's no like, I just want to chill at the pool all day and have a drink.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You got to do stuff.
If it's just you and I, there's like a couple ideas that we want to make sure we have.
Yeah, or we'll just be like, want to do this? Yeah, okay. Like we just on the spot think of it.
But like even if let's take the off the spot. There's a couple things we want to do. Chill, downtime, relax, spa, massage, hang by the pool. Like that's wrapped under. It's almost like the relaxation tab.
Yeah.
We want to have lots of good sex. So this might be the recreation, like sexual recreation tab. We want to go actually do new experiences. So that's like the novelty tab. Like let's go do a new dinner at a new spot and a new thing and go dancing
Feel
somewhere
the vibe.
new.
Yeah.
Go. It's like almost like the adventure thing. Well, all of those were really hard to hit with Jovi in tow.
You cannot do like any of those with a kid around.
Not in the same way, yeah.
No, well, you can't have a massage. Can't be just sex whenever you want. You can't go out partying, drinking at night.
Yeah.
And definitely no relaxing. Okay. So literally can't do any of those with a kid.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do? Plan some things. But for some reason, I think we just went and we're like, we'll just go.
I know exactly the reasons.
Well, you tell me.
Okay.
And I want to tell everyone, by the way, we haven't really talked about this because we're like, let's save all of it for here. So this is our fresh take since our vacation that we're talking about it.
Yeah. We got back Tuesday, hung out a little bit, not much. Yesterday was busy.
No, not hung out, like unpack, clean, shower, put Jovi to bed. Like it was boom, 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 still.
Yesterday we hung out a little bit, but was still more just chill, kind of relaxed vibes.
I was like dead yesterday.
And we knew we would break it down today. So here is why I think what happened. I'm actually exceedingly glad that it did because I already have implemented almost everything I learned from this trip.
What? Tell me.
In terms of planning. We went to Cancun about a year ago.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And
with Jovi.
With Jovi.
Yeah.
You, me, and Jovi went to Cancun.
We did that one.
There was like 21 things on the list to do, and we did all 24 of them. Like we added shit in as we were going, and we didn't get back to the hotel. Sometimes like what 11, 12, 1
No, that
night?
that one night was 2 from the theme park we went to.
Yeah.
And Jovi was like a zombie. She was so tired, and she doesn't sleep on like buses or anything.
I went over planning mode on that one. So I thought, okay, this time I thought I was only trying to hit 2 things, and even in attempting to hit the 2 things, it didn't work. So number one, I thought, okay, I'm going with my son Brotherhood. After that, I'll meet you in the same place I'm flying out for a couple of days. You and Jovi flying, we'll be there. And here's what I was thinking. Find a hotel that has water slides, like a water park built into it. That was literally the only criteria.
Yeah.
And before, you and I, we like to go to resorts. We like to go to the the places.
Because you and I went to Cabo last year, just you and I with friends.
Yeah.
And you and I chilled and did that spontaneous
and we went to a place
things.
that we would go to, but we got, maybe Jovi wouldn't like that. She would probably like an all-inclusive,
right?
Which is a very different vibe than going to a different resort.
Yes.
And for those of you who vacation or understand the difference between resorts and all-inclusive and stuff, you're already feeling our anxiety right now.
Yeah, now we know.
You don't know anything about what we're talking about, take notes so that you can learn and you can learn this without the lessons we had to go through. So we tried to make this trip about Jovi, the place we stay, where we go, what we do, Jovi-centric.
Yeah.
Of course, not a problem. Except that we kind of guessed wrong. We got to the all-inclusive spot and she's like, I don't want to be, like, I don't want this.
So I got there before you, which then I had to call Lexi, our assistant, because my name wasn't on it. And I knew I was going to get there before you. I didn't know what my name wasn't on it first. And then I had to wait, call. She had to call. Finally, we got there. Then our room wasn't ready for 2 hours. So it already started massive shit show. Oh, and not to mention Jovi was throwing up on the way to the airport. Then we get there. So this is all I'm dealing with before you even get there. We meet you there. Then I'm trying to check in. Then I get to the place and then we can't get to our room. So we're waiting outside basically. So we just kind of lay by the pool with our clothes and stuff. But I was looking around. I was like, Then we get to our room and I was like, whoa. And I didn't want to sound all complainy,
Yeah.
And I was looking around. I was like, this is horrible. I don't know if I told you too, there was a piece of glass on the floor in the bathroom. It was a shit show. And Jovi was excited, so I try not to say anything or blow you up texting. She doesn't see things
necessarily the way we do. So she's right.
She was fine.
She's like, this
and
is,
I was like,
wow, let's go.
Yeah. And I don't want to be not grateful. I was like, we're here.
But you and I were literally looking at it and complaining to each other for about an hour or two. And she's like, this is great. I love this. Oh, let's go do this. And so there's this piece of me that goes, as a dad, wow, she's sure happy.
Yeah.
But we're sure not.
No. And it was a bed, and a couch. So we know for sure there's no sex time. Can't even sneak it in.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, so that's not going to work.
Yeah. So I think that was the main thing. And then we found out there was no hot tub. We're like, okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah. So we book a place that we would normally go to.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that slipped past the goalie. And this is one of the biggest lessons. A lot of things didn't go the way we wanted them to. And if you have option A versus option B, option A is the only thing you would pick and you would never pick option B. There was about 8 different scenarios where option A was gone and option B was the only choice. And we're sitting there thinking option A would have been a choice had we put a little planning into it.
Yeah.
When I look at the hotel, there's not any world that you and I would have ever booked that hotel. So we're looking at each other going, how did this hotel get booked? But I also remember the meeting where you, me, and Lexi sat down. I'm like, that'll work.
Yeah.
And
I vaguely remember that. But I just was
but either way, it was we found ourselves in the energy of having a vacation and everything is going wrong to where we're I don't even feel like this is a vacation. I'm more fucking pissed off on vacation than I'm here at home.
I would have been great at home, all peaceful and
quiet.
That's
the thing is our life is already almost like a resort life, peaceful life anyway. So when we go somewhere, our standards are we want to be that.
Yeah.
And boy, there was frustration. So we go to this resort that we actually really want to go to. Our assistant books it, the one we would have stayed at the entire time.
Yes.
We get there and they say, now we drive there and it's about 25 minutes from where we're at. And beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. As soon as we walked in the door, we're like, we love these types of spots. And they go, yes, the booking is correct, but we have no room for you.
Yep.
But we have a sister property that's 45 minutes back past where you just came from.
And this is dinner time, and now we're starving, and Jovi feels
everybody's starving. Not me,
and
but you
Jovi doesn't feel safe in a weird way, so she's kind of whiny and complaining and hungry. And so we eat there.
I think they might be wondering why we're telling this story, and I think it's because you have to understand how important planning actually is.
I wanted to end, but if you're saying it right in the middle,
just in case they're like, God, we're hearing about it. It was like if you invite somebody
whining,
over.
like venting on our Facebook or something.
I don't know, but just I want to make sure that we're touching base on going, hey, there's a point to all
There
this.
is a point, and the whole point was planning. We didn't have our planning meeting on Monday because you were gone and doing things. Like, I mean, at least I think we could have done a phone call.
Yeah.
There was no planning, and then the planning for our vacation was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Like, the planning makes everything go better. Your relationship, your life, your kids' lives, they feel safe. You have more fun.
Yeah. Here's what the punchline for me was, and then we can go through a whole host of comedy of errors. Jovi wants to do zip lining. We go there. We're not even to the first zip line, and because there was a tremendous amount of hiking and or walking. And she goes,
lots of steps.
How do we get out of this? And we're like, we've got 20 more to go, and it's the only way to get down.
Yeah, and then she's like, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. So
the whole time, each zip line complained, and that's what she wanted to do.
Yeah. And so we're thinking here, we got this hotel and we got this activity for her. She's not happy. Now that she's not happy, it makes us even extra miserable going, motherfucker, we would have not have picked this hotel. We would have not have picked these activities. We would have not have done fucking any of this except for her. And now she's saying, hey, I'm kind of too old for all this shit too. And we're like, oh, okay. So that would have been fun to know beforehand. Now, here's where it got interesting for me, unless there was something else you want to say.
I was going to say my favorite part of the trip.
Let me say the punchline, then you say the favorite part.
Okay, and then I want to know your favorite part.
And let me guess what your favorite part is. The punchline is we're sitting there in a spot that we don't want to be at, knowing had we planned, we would have been at the most world-class spot ever. And I'm sitting there in Mexico thinking, I could have my family around a nice little fireplace outside the Four Seasons in Punta Mita, and we could have had the most epic fucking experience. Not checked into 3 different hotels, not travel for a fucking day, not get what we don't want. And when you're sitting there going, this is all on me because I didn't actually take the time to plan, that when I got home, I said, I will not let that happen to me in my life. And the punchline is the planning creates the feeling of safety and control and the feeling of preparedness, so that way you're not just randomly going up. But the reason we went the other way is because Cancun was so crazy and so hectic. I thought, let's just do the chill mode. We can pick whatever we want to do. And it didn't work. And I did not like the experience.
Yeah.
I love the learning. I've been here since then planning. I will plan every activity, every fucking thing we ever do from here on out. We'll have a plan and intention and thing that we're going to be heading into.
Yeah.
Which just makes your life so much better.
Well, I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm glad that you learned a lesson. But while we were there, your negativity and attitude was exuded to me, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I bet.
It was.
Tell the people.
Well, I want to say it in front of everyone. It was
Tell.
awful because I felt like all right, this all sucks, but I'm in Mexico. Let's have a good time. We're all together. But you were so frustrated, and I just kept hearing your frustration. What it was like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it was really, but I mean, it was all happened for you and you learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Now you won't let that happen again. But your
Tell
face and negativity was like
Tell them how
not
positive
fun
you were.
to be around.
Tell them how positive you were.
Well, that was on that end. Then on my end, I get Jovi saying her stuff to me because she tells me like, I'm hungry, I'm all the things to me.
Yeah.
So I have both of you in my ear and I feel like I'm just trying to hold it all together.
Isn't that interesting?
That is how I felt.
I love that you're sharing your perception and your perspective, because it is your perception and your perspective.
I know. That's why I'm sharing it.
I love it. Well, it's because it's so interesting because everybody was going through something different in the same exact scenario.
That's what I was going
through. Very
through.
differently. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, let me guess your favorite part.
Okay.
It was the water slides into the river after the lunch, after the zip line, after Jovi had not had a bad attitude, and we all had fun in the cold water.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that was.
What
do you
skinny
think?
marg in my hand.
With a skinny margarita in your hand, yes.
We had some pizza, slide it in that fresh water. It was there was cats and dogs and birds and monkeys all around in the jungle of Jalisco. It was amazing.
That
was amazing.
It frustrates me when I spend time, money, and energy to go somewhere to create peace and it's not there.
I know.
And to realize I was the one who fucked myself. That is not a good feeling. What do you think my favorite part was?
Besides the sex?
Yeah.
Probably the same. Or the time with your son brothers before you got to
I can say the 3 days before I signed you and then heading home after. Yeah.
Yeah. But probably, I mean, realistically, the trip with us, not your friends, is probably the same time, that lunch time. Because we were all in a good mood.
Yeah. Probably. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it.
I really liked that little lunch. That was fun. But the frustration again is when we got back to the hotel, the sun was going down, all the party at the hotel was ending, the music and all the cabanas, and we had no hot tub there too. Mm-hmm. And it was like, again, there we go.
Yeah.
Right back to it.
Yeah. So what happens when things don't go the way you want? For me, this was a lesson of when things don't go the way I want, I have to immediately go back to the planning.
Yeah.
How planned was I?
Yeah.
And see, for my Ascend Brotherhood meeting before then, we were over-planned.
Yep. That was a frustration of mine as well.
Yeah, you think Keith would do all this for that?
Yeah, he would never let it happen for them. Mm-hmm. Why us?
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you in a mean way, did I?
I think
in a frustrated way.
I think all of us felt some responsibility. Mm-hmm. There was all of us felt. I probably felt the majority of the responsibility, but I think everybody felt kind of like, "Fuck! If I would have said this at this time, this probably would have happened differently." You know what I'm saying? So I think I felt the majority of that. I gotta imagine you would have said like, "Fuck! I wish I would have spoke up in the when we're picking the hotel meeting and been more forceful."
Yeah, because I don't even really remember that.
I don't really either remember it either.
Yeah.
But that's again preferences. You and I have preferences.
Yeah.
And we are very clear about what they are and what we want and what we're willing to pay for them and why we want the piece and the preference of what we want. And when every thing was just like, yeah, you could have had that, except this. And I just imagine, I was able to instantly translate it over to the rest of part of my life and go, fuck, this is why this is this way, this is this way, this is this way. If I just spend a tremendous amount of time planning before, go ahead. And this is the one single hardest thing for me to be able to get men to actually do in our program is plan. And this was a reminder of why it's so tough for men to plan, but ultimately the frustration that men feel by they're not planned out in their life. You feel like you're running in quicksand quite a bit, and it's very frustrating. I needed this experience to really take me to the core of I fucking cannot stand this. I will not tolerate this in my life ever fucking again. Yeah. And it will change now. I don't know if I would have experienced, I don't know if I would feel the way I feel now if I didn't experience that.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
The frustration level was high.
And people are quick to be like, oh, that's first world problems. And no, it has actually nothing to do with first world problems. It has everything to do with we could have planned better.
Well, it's what we'll accept in our life, living the life that we live and want to live.
Yeah.
So first world problems, but we put intention most of the time in our life.
Yeah.
So it's what we'll accept. That's why we have the life we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was what I wanted to convey in this particular message today was a lot of the times the frustration that men experience is because they haven't planned. And I'm noticing that a lot of the lack of leadership shows up in marriages when a man hasn't planned. So let's just give an example. I didn't have time to figure this out last night, but on family night, what's the activity? What are we doing? What energy do I bring to that table and go, this is family night, which means we're doing this, or this. It's not, hey, what are we doing tonight? It's, this is what I got planned. And if you take that level of ownership over anything, you will be the most prepared person in the room. You will have a vision for what's going on, and people will look to you as the fucking leader. That happens 100% of the time. And it just took this experience that is so dumb and so basic and so fucking simple that we would pass this 100 times out of 100 if we were present in the moment making the choices. You've got 60 days to pick which of these 30 resort hotels you want to go to. They're all open. Nobody's booked them yet. Which one would you like, Keith? oh, these 3 are the best. They're the best of the best. Perfect. Okay. How would you like to travel there, Keith? These are all the airlines, or they're semi-private or private. Which of these looks like the one you'd like to pick? You can choose any one. There's plenty of seats open. There's some time available. Oh, I like this one. I bet you do. I would pass that test 100 times out of 100. And I will from here on out. Because these are all simple decisions. And I'm like, fuck, you must be going a little bit too fast. That if something this basic and this thing had this much potential for reward, and somehow you ended up in this situation, you're a fucking asleep at the wheel. So I had to wake up I fell asleep at the planning wheel, dude.
Yeah.
And we ran right off the mountain, right into the cliff. And everyone's like, well, fucking what happened? It's like, oh, Keith ran over the fucking edge.
I'm even more glad that you're saying this because I remember trying to get you to pull the trigger on some things, and I was like, well, it's coming up, and you're like, I can't deal, or you just kept pushing it off. I have other things that are priority,
I have other things that are priority right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? You're going to put yourself right back in the situation, dumb. I cut you off. I got too excited.
No, but you're owning up to it, and now you've learned.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to blame you and Lexi. It has nothing to do with you guys. It has to do with me.
Yeah.
Jordan's around. He's probably his fault too. He wasn't even around.
Fucking Jordan.
But it's 100%. I own it. You want to hear a really funny story?
Cheers.
Here's a really funny story.
What?
Okay, so when somebody's really, really valuable, there's some details that you don't give a fuck about. For example, if I made you feel a certain way, you meet me on the street and you go, God, he makes me feel something. And you only knew my first name. And we hung out again and I made you feel that way again. And you only knew my first name. And after our 3rd or 4th date, someone goes, dude, what's his last name? Like, I don't fucking know. Would that really be a problem? Like, would that actually be a problem? The answer is no. Okay. So I make jersey for the Ascend brothers.
Yeah.
Right? All I know is this guy that's making our video and our life 100 times better. His name is Jordan. Do you know this?
Yes.
His name is Jordan.
Okay, I do know that.
Okay, so I'm pulling out.
I'm seeing where you're going with this. You're confusing me.
I'm pulling out jerseys, and they all have their last name and their number on the back. So Stanzik number 3, and I'm doing the T-ball coach thing I do. I'm rhyming. I'm having and the guys are loving it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're loving it. And one of the last ones I pull out, I go, and number 34, Manning. Who the fuck is Manning?
Oh my God.
And Jordan goes, oh, that's me, dude. That's my last name. I'm like, oh shit, that's our guy. Threw it to him. And I didn't even know the guy's last name, and he's worked for us.
I don't think I did either.
Okay, well, who cares?
It's Jay's Visions or whatever on Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to call him Jay, but his real name is Jordan because his fucking Instagram is Jay's Visions, which you guys should go check out. It's underwater photography. Meta just shared one of his videos.
No, shit.
Very cool. I say all that to simply say they're down to we got to have every I dotted, every T crossed. And it's like, just go be fucking valuable and people won't even give a shit about your last name, but they'll be stoked you're around. And that happened on this trip. That might have been one of my most favorite things.
On your trip.
On my trip. Yeah, my trip was awesome.
Don't say my trip, it's your trip.
My trip was fucking epic.
Yeah, great.
I had the time of my life.
So happy for you.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really...
I am really happy for you.
Yeah, I know you
But
are.
I just wish my trip was as good or better.
Imagine being so valuable to people they don't even know your last name. But they can't, they're super stoked you're around.
Yeah. I don't think people know mine. So
ooh, Jesse, joy. Dun,
that's
dun,
all,
dun.
But they don't know it.
But I think did you get the lesson?
Yes, I get it.
Okay, you got the lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, be that valuable.
That was me, yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of when I knew your last name.
Oh.
I don't know when.
Okay. That is interesting.
Probably not when we did it, that's for sure. No, wait, were we following each other? Anyways, that's besides the point. Oh. You got any questions for me, Mr. Yaki?
Well, I got a couple other things I want to say about Mexico.
Okay.
All right, so there's a couple of high points that happened for us at the Ascend Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of guys who listen to this.
High points.
Yeah, I was high the entire time.
And our entire trip too.
Yeah, and not so much our trip actually. Maybe that's why I was frustrated because I was getting low on the supply.
Oh, that's what it is.
Either way, God, here we go.
Admit it.
What?
Admit it.
Admit what?
That's what it was.
Admit what?
Your frustration and anger in my trip.
What about it? What am I?
You're laughing.
What am I admitting?
You needed more weed. You were coming down, so you're like, oh, fuck.
It would have been, I could have used that, but that's not the point. The point is, a lot of guys listen to this podcast and they don't have actual, like, a real tribe around them, and they don't know how to create it. And even guys who come through Married Game, it's really rare for them to have, like, close brothers, close friends. And so we, as bros, there's 13 or 14 of us that flew out to Mexico, as you know. We got this epic retreat center right on the beach. It was
The planning was perfect.
The planning was epic and perfect. And here's the deal, is watching those guys come put their mask down and open their hearts up.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
But there was yoga and breath work and deep in the morning, and we were out dancing till midnight or 1 in the evening. Just
so cute. And you called me, I loved it.
We're just losing our minds.
Yeah.
And having the best time. And watching these guys, first and foremost, go out and have fun together. And everybody was just, we were within our integrity in the highest form. And we were the most fun people there, evidenced by all the people that gathered around and the hilarity of everything that was happening. So that was first and foremost. I don't think a lot of guys go out and have real holistic, absolute fun with other guys that they respect, that lift them, and are there for them. That's the first thing that was really, it was so encouraging, because I invited a couple new guys this time that hadn't been around everybody, and yet I told them, when you meet these guys, you're going to see a different level of animal here. And that actually came to pass. And that was pretty epic. The second thing that I thought was really epic is watching guys in that environment. We pushed ourselves. And I'd probably say my second favorite thing that happened to me on that trip, we did this thing called a temescal. It's like a clay oven, and it's like a little clay. It looks like the Epcot Center from the outside, and there was 13 of us plus these 4. I think there was like 19 of us in this thing together.
That's insane.
They heat this thing up. It's very, very, the heat feels like a cloak, like heavy on you. And to get your breath better, you have to put your legs as close to the floor as possible. You bend down, because the closer to the floor, it's cooler in like any sauna.
Yeah.
All of us were nervous. Like, I felt like my sphincter was like, oh God, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't, I don't want to be the guy that goes out. Is this going to be tough? How bad is this? And so it was.
How long are you in there?
It was all brand new.
Yeah.
And pitch black, super fucking hot, loud, because we're all chanting and they're playing music and, like, I want to say like tambourines and shit like that.
Percussion.
And doing something brand new that makes your sphincter tight with 13 other guys, it was so bonding.
Was it?
It was so fucking bonding.
Because I saw the video and I'm like, that I would have left. That long but in there?
What's interesting with the guys is nobody wanted to be the guy that would leave.
Absolutely.
And I don't think anybody would have gotten up.
Wow.
There's just fucking, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
But it's rare for you to go into a situation thinking that could even be a possibility. So that's not something that a lot of people put themselves in the way of in their life. Around their best friends in a situation like that, where maybe you could be the guy that leaves.
That's why you started the ice bath things, huh? But that became too easy. So this one was another hard thing.
It was another hard thing that was new. And watching it become new with all of us together. And I just asked them, everybody, I get, honestly, hands raised, how many of you guys are a little bit nervous right now? And everybody raised their hand.
Yeah.
And we would look at each other like, fuck, I don't want to be the first guy.
Yeah.
And they actually build it up like it's this big fucking thing that you might bounce out of. Nobody was bouncing out of it.
No?
Now that I've been through it.
But 90 minutes. You did 90 minutes in there. And that was fine?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it gets progressively hotter towards the end. So like they bring in hotter rocks, more water, and they've opened the flap, and then
that's crazy. Yeah. I'd rather do a cold plunge for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Compared to 90 minutes in that.
But that's the mind fuck.
Yeah.
Is going through these mind fuckery situations, and all it
together.
Is. Once you go through it first time, you're like, oh, I could do that. I could do it. I wouldn't even have any nerves going the second time. But the first time, and to experience that with your boys and your brothers. And I was just thinking, because it feels like a pain in the ass to travel to these spots and to do these things.
Yeah.
And but the reward within 5 minutes of Jordan and I landing, the way our guy picked us up from the airport, within 5 minutes we had already gotten business lessons that we were like, we need to make sure every detail is always taken care of for all of our clients in any situation ever when they're with us. Because that's not how we were treated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I go there, I want the guy with the sign that says my last name.
Yeah.
I don't have to stop, put my shit down, call, hey, where he's on right behind you. Well, where's the fucking sign, retard?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those little things. And I was like, well, we need to go through our business and look through, is there anything that we're missing there? Well, there was. And they're the little things, but one little thing in our business could pay for that trip over and over and over again very many times. So it's like, if we're missing that little thing, where are we? What else are we missing? So within 5 minutes, we're both like, we got what we needed for this trip. And it reminded me, the reason why we travel out and go, and the reason why we separate ourselves from normal everyday life, is to experience something new. But when you put yourself in that experience, it's a new version of you too, because you've never been there before.
Right.
So we are going on way more of these trips. I even told you and Jovi, I owe you guys a trip. I'm going to make it epic.
Because you said it's so bonding. It's bonding for you and the Ascend guys. But that's what it does for family too.
Yeah.
And there was even a couple of times where Jovi's like clinging onto my arm because, you know, we're like in this new, and I can hear like, I know she was all complaining and whatever, but a couple of times she's like, I love you. So even for a family, that's really necessary to that bonding experience.
And do that kind of fun stuff. And we were even talking about how there's just families that just take their kids on vacation. They're just figure it out.
Yeah.
And so next time, you know,
maybe she's spoiled. I don't know. Or preteeny or whatever.
I don't know. Anyway,
but
that's basically, if you felt like you just sat in our living room in 1989 and you watched our slideshow of our trip to Bermuda, then that's what that was, if that was that for you. For us, it's fucking breaking it down, and hopefully you guys learned something from that. This might be somebody's favorite episode.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but the bottom line is...
One more thing.
Talk to me.
It was super cool. We're in the middle of Mexico, Jalisco, in the jungle, about to zip line. Really high, might add, that someone recognized you. And we hung out with that guy the whole time, him and his friend. And that was really cool too.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I think that shit's cool. I like it happening for Jovi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, what? Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
There was another thing that happened to me when I was there. There was a lot of beautiful women. They obviously all like me. But
Obviously.
But what was interesting is with another one of our friends, we were on the beach part in front of the estate where we were staying, and a very attractive woman came up with her, I think her nephew and 2 dogs. And we're just sitting there. There's nobody else on the beach. It's early. And I am taking pictures and videoing of her or whatever. And I said, I don't want you to ever forget this. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, if you believe in abundance, that's what will actually happen to you. I said, we are in the middle of fucking nowhere, Mexico, on a beach, and a legitimate 9 walked up to us and was like, hey, I said, there ain't nobody here. You need to understand that if you believe that there is an abundance of this creature fucking everywhere you go, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be everywhere you go, and it's going to make you think differently about needs, wants, desires, but ultimately, and that's what I really cared about, standards. Because if you don't believe that literally everywhere you go, the most beautiful women in the world want you or are attracted to you because you're that guy, you're going to then drop the standards that you hold for other people. Because now you don't think there's enough there. It's not enough there. All you got to do is travel one of these cities, and anywhere, not America, even though for some of us, America has treated us very, very well in terms of that department. But anywhere outside of America, even American women act differently down there. It's abundance. Fucking abundance. And I don't know that guys have experienced it. I was really keen to show that to everybody. They're everywhere, guys.
Yeah.
They're fucking everywhere. There's beautiful women everywhere. So just stop acting like this.
Yeah.
Anyway. What did
Stop settling.
Is that what your experience is?
That there's beautiful men all around?
Beautiful women.
Oh, women, yes, but high value men are harder to find, but still you can find them.
They're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got a new little fun section that we want to continue to broach in.
Let's
go.
go.
Also abundant and around every corner, and that is humor and questions. So, are you ready for this?
I love humor.
Okay. These are from our beloved Jordan. So I have
Manning,
Manning, number 34. Number 34 after.
Oh, why 34?
That's a great question. It's because there was a great running back out of Chicago, played American football. His name is Peyton. No, his name is Walter Payton.
Oh.
Walter Payton. I was going to say Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
His name is Walter Payton.
Okay.
Which is also a problem with your last name being Manning. I go, hey, who the fuck is Eli or Peyton around here? Anyhow, so it's named after the great Walter Payton. Nate also had a nickname of Sweetness.
What was your number?
Oh, I'm 19.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why?
In 2019 is when you discovered,
That's really your answer? Give me the real answer.
Married game, right?
No.
What?
2019 is when COVID came about.
Oh,
and
that was 2020.
That's when I said, I doubled my ad spend. As soon as the day when locked in, I literally doubled my ad spend. Consciously saying, if everybody else is going to go into a hole, I'm fucking going on top of the earth. I'm going to do this thing. And because of that, it shifted my gear. And that was when we moved in the San Clemente house.
Yeah, that picked up. Our life picked up from there.
Really did. And but my mindset was, no. All gas, no fucking brakes.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Fuck it. 19 is my new favorite number. And so now 19 is my favorite number.
What's my favorite number?
Oh, you already know that. 3.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to say 1111.
Oh, you're 1111. 1111. All right. This section. Section. Ready? Statistics of happily ever after. You ready for this?
I'm
going
ready.
to read you some statistics, and we're going to respond.
Okay.
All right. 1 in 3 men would give up sports for more sex. 33% of married men would rather give up sports than continue in a low-sex marriage. 10% said they would give up their favorite food for a year in exchange for better intimacy.
That means that's number 1 on their list of things they want.
So this is your response.
Yeah.
The number one thing, what do they want? What's their number one thing they want?
Sex.
Sex.
That's their connecting.
That's their connecting.
Yes?
And it's what it sounds like. 1 in 3 men would give up sports for more sex. 33% of married men.
I think the other ones that are saying no are just lazy fucks. You know what I mean? They're like, nah, I'm good.
Interesting.
It's true.
So the top 33%, you're saying this is the top 33% of men. That's how you're actually interpreting this. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Would rather give up sports than continue in a low sex marriage. 10% they would. I'm guessing sports is meaning probably watching sports as opposed to playing sports. I don't even think 33% of men.
No, they don't get up off their couch. They just
All right. So, am I right about watching sports? This is actively watching sports, not actively participating in sports.
It'd be hotter if they did. They'd probably get more sex.
And what that's 10% said they would give up their favorite food for a year in exchange for better intimacy. Okay, so what's my favorite food?
Well, sugar. Am I wrong?
Okay, I got to tell you something about.
Like, is it salty or sweet? What's your favorite?
If for some reason.
What did we get last night? What did you make me eat again?
You're back to lying again on the show. I thought we were gonna lie.
I thought we were going to. When I get home, we get healthy.
Go ahead and lie to the people.
And what do you text me? What kind of pizza do you want?
I said, am I reading your mind correctly? Because I could feel in your brain you were thinking you wanted to go either Doho pizza or Truly pizza. I wasn't wrong.
You were wrong. I already had dinner planned, and you said pizza. I was like, I'm not making dinner. I'm eating pizza.
So let's get back at the ranch here. Hey, there's another thing.
And only 10% would give up their favorite food. That means a lot of people like their favorite food.
Can you answer the question, please?
Would you give up sugar for a year?
Yeah. Not for better intimacy. I'd give it up to be a better human being.
Starting today.
You're not giving me these impromptu starting today. You're going to fucking hate your life.
Okay, next question.
No, I have, but you didn't even answer the question.
Oh,
what's my favorite food?
Okay, food.
What's my favorite element in food?
Dang it!
You shush me.
Thinking.
You're thinking awfully slow. You were better at the fill in the.
I mean, you like Indian food, you like quesadillas, you like pizza.
Thank you. Indian food.
Okay.
Chicken macanwala, 7
Butter
spice,
chicken.
butter chicken.
Extra tamarind and extra bread on the side.
And soft
Naan.
bread. Yeah. So
plain naan.
okay. They would rather give up sports and continue in a low sex marriage. What do these numbers mean to you, other than yes, this is their favorite activity?
It just shows a statistic about what they'd willing to give up for it. That's what the numbers show.
Do you think most women know this statistic?
No.
Why is that word just the worst word
Why
in the world?
is it so hard?
Statistic. I feel like I have to be really aggressive on the st part. Okay. No. This is I want to hang out on this one for a little bit. Women have to know.
Well, tell them.
No.
Let them know.
I'm saying that I don't think your premise that women don't know might not be as accurate.
I don't think they know or care.
I think the second part is what I was trying to get to. So they go, okay, sex is this guy's favorite thing. Why do you think women resist that so much if it's that obvious?
Well, is he doing all the things too? That's what she's saying.
Do you think women, okay, so you know how I hold men to a standard and go, hey, this is your standard. Her response does not dictate your standard. Do you think women should also live that way? Like
yes.
Okay.
Yes, they should.
I'm not trying to trap you, by the way. I know sometimes I ask trick questions. These are not trick. I swear to God, you're such a little.
But if you claim and want to be the leader of your family, then no. Then you have to do it first. But she's going to rise up, be the best she can be, and she's going to leave your ass. That's what's going to happen.
So if you take my principles that I teach to men and we apply them to women, you believe that the outcome would be more likely that if she rises up, let's just say, let's use sex as the standard.
Okay.
Her standard is we're having sex 2 to 3 times a week. Whether you like it or not, sir, I'm having sex 2 or 3 times a week. Do you believe that if she did that, he wouldn't actually rise to the occasion, and more likely she would just feel that she's out of his league and would go do something else? Do you feel like that would be the majority? Obviously, you can't speak for 100%.
That's what I was about to say. There has to be a number to that, a percentage to that.
What do you think?
I think some would rise up, and I think some wouldn't, and then she'd have to leave him.
Do you think more would not rise up? More men?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because if you're already that kind of man where I have to show you, I can help and guide you and tell you my frustrations, but you're going to have to do it on your own if you're the true leader of this family.
Got it.
If you're the true man I want you to be.
Well, okay, so if I circle back and bring it back to the guy's perspective, so rather than he says, I'm having sex 2 to 3 times a week, he says, I'm going to use your love language here specifically, which is probably most women's anyway, is I'm going to do acts of service 2 to 3 times a week without you asking, and they're going to be meaningful.
Okay.
And that's my standard. So your response does not dictate. I'm going to do this fucking thing. What a guy would experience in that mode is almost 100% of the time, if it's done because that's his standard, almost 100% of the time, a wife would start to lean in, genuinely lean in and start to be more interested, I would say, in what he desires. Okay. But I don't think that's the other way around. Is what and you don't think it is the other way. You're saying that the woman is like, here is my affection, intimacy, and my legs spread for you 2 to 3 times a week. That doesn't actually make a man rise up to become better. What do you think it would happen to him? I think I know what your answer is, but I want to hear you say it. It would make him what?
I don't know. What are you going to say?
More entitled.
Ooh.
Because here's why. The awareness of a man in Western society, specifically the United States, is, well, of course she's giving me sex 2 to 3 times a week. I'm breaking my ass over here to pay the bills and to do the thing and do the thing. So she's just doing her part. I'm doing my part. And
so it'll stay the same.
It would stay the same.
I agree. I like that.
Almost 100%.
That's what I was saying, though, without that word, because that's how our old relationship was.
100%.
We were so entitled to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. For some reason,
Yes.
but it doesn't have to be that way, because there's ladies listening to us, and we shout out, we love you ladies. They're going, how do I get this dude to actually become this thing? And what we even found in coaching the women is they can go throw their vagina at the problem and solve that particular thing for him immediately. But it doesn't actually get her what she wants.
Nope.
In fact, most guys go, I'm fucking glad you finally changed.
Wow.
You're
not wrong.
This is the mentality.
It's true.
I provide, I protect, I produce. Where's my pussy? And when she goes, well, here it is on a platter 2 to 3 times a week, but he's not doing anything else, what's actually going to happen, this has happened to you, and this has happened to other women, is you start to resent the guy, and you go, hey, I'm literally going above and beyond for you, and you aren't doing anything. It can happen if a woman does that, if she's able to then share
and he's willing to receive
her standard. She
Yes,
might.
to receive
I
it
think
too.
she'd have to go out, if we're coaching women. You go out and lead the standard and go. Maybe that conversation with her at that point with him then becomes more of a, I'm living at this standard. You're never going to have to worry about being starved of pussy, but you have lost my heart, or you're losing my heart. If that's of interest to you, maybe your standards should change in this area.
I like that.
Does that make sense? Because even you and I were mad the other day, but I'm like, I still need, I want and desire to be with you, even if we're mad about something.
Yeah.
That should never go away. I think that's just healthy. But the standard of, well, my guy, you can have that part because this is us, and this, I'm not
it's
gonna,
our relationship.
but our heart, my heart and my interest in you is, it's not really there because my experience of you is this. You're a taker. You're this, you're that.
I wish I had those words for you back in the day. That clear.
Yeah.
Right?
I wish you did too.
But then I kind of don't, because here we are.
See?
Oh, well.
See? The reason why our vacation turned to shit was so that it would never happen again. Now we're talking. All right, so that's what I think about all
I like
that.
that. I like that.
Good for you.
Good for you.
See? All right, another statistic. Statistics of relationships. Here we go.
Okay.
75% of women in sexless marriages say they initiate more.
Oof.
In sex-starved marriages, 3 out of 4 women say they are the ones trying to initiate sex, but their partner isn't interested. This is real?
I know cases out there like that.
Let me read it again, just make sure we're reading the right question. This feels like something Ashton Kutcher's going to pop out.
Oh my
and
God.
Gonna be like,
how old are you?
well, I'm the exact age of the man that you love. That.
You.
whatever.
I was like, wait, who, Ashton?
Whatever age
I love
that
Ashton,
is.
I do.
Yeah, you do. Well, he and I are probably the same age.
Probably.
Okay, 75% of women in sexless marriages say they initiate more. This is going to be interesting. In sex-starved marriages, 3 out of 4 women say they are the ones trying to initiate sex, but their partner isn't interested.
That's wild.
I've got 2 responses for this, and I will say them when you are done with your response.
No, you first. Why is
ladies,
it me first? You first.
Because I read
want
the
to
question.
hear your response.
No, I read the question. You do a response.
No,
I
I
do a
just said,
response.
oh, wow, that's crazy. You go ahead.
Well, but do you think that's true?
I don't know about those specific numbers, but I know that there's cases out there like that where the man doesn't want to.
3 out of 4.
That's a lot. And because I'm not the initiator. I like you being the initiator. For me, it makes me feel girly and feminine and wanted and beautiful. Like I want to feel feminine, like a woman.
You like when I come kicking down that door with a
I do,
raging boner
honestly.
looking for you. You like
when you walk in and ding.
Yeah.
Oh, you like me. You want me.
This boy's ready.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do like that. So I don't want to initiate. But I know that there's cases out there like that. And eventually they give up, the women. They just give up trying that hard. It's not in a woman's nature to be denied that many times. Like it's easier for a man to handle that stuff.
Okay, I'm going to go rogue.
When aren't you? You know what I mean? Go. Namaste.
Here's the deal. I'm gonna react to this stat. I don't know if the team is putting this in here with some opposite day stuff to see if they're going to trip me up or just they want me to respond. But I'm going to, I don't know if I'm being set up or not.
Okay.
But I'm going to respond to this in the energy that it's been given to me in.
Okay.
They're saying this is true. I have a hard time believing
Me
this
too.
is true.
Especially for all the men we talk to.
Yeah, it's not like if that was the case, I feel like 3 out of 4 guys would be like, listen, dude, my wife is trying to initiate sex. I'd be like, all right, what's the problem? So I just don't believe that number. But I have a lot to say about this topic.
Well, come on.
So let's bring that out. You okay with this?
Go, chip job, boy.
Okay.
Get to it.
Here we go. I'm going to state my opinion about a relationship where a woman says, no matter what I do, my husband doesn't seem interested. I have some theories, and I believe they're correct, and I'm okay with not being radically dogmatic on this.
Okay.
The situation is probably one of these two situations. A, the man is just no longer attracted to her because she's gained a bunch of weight and she's taken on this really negative demeanor. And he's just, like, he literally is like, honestly, I'm just not that attracted to you. So if this thing is right, I want to get the cause of why. If this is right, 3 out of 4 women say they initiate more. If that's true, I don't believe it's true. If it's true, here's what's probably going on. She's gained a bunch of weight. She no longer looks the way she did when he dated her, and she no longer acted femininely and anything like. So he's genuinely just turned off. He's like, ugh, fuck that. That could be the first situation. The second situation, which I think is more rare, but I do think it happens. Again, this is all just fucking.
Okay.
This is kitchen table science here. I'm not claiming to be a psychologist or anything. I'm just saying what I've seen. He has felt rejected for so long that there's a piece of him that wants to turn her down so that she feels like what it feels like, so that she would never fucking do that to him again.
Okay.
I think that's more rare.
What about, thirdly, testosterone on his end?
Yeah, there's barring like that kind of stuff, like
But that's
medical.
a huge one.
Yeah, okay.
That's a lot of the cases that I actually know.
Oh, okay.
There's like no interest. It doesn't even work.
Oh, yeah.
So it's testosterone as well.
Okay. Here's the conversation I think they need to have, though. If the woman is in this situation, I think, you know what? I actually think men and women should have this conversation no matter what.
Okay.
That a husband would be brave enough to listen to his wife, truly brave enough, and go, hey, what are things that I make you feel that genuinely I would never want to make you feel? Would you be willing to answer that on camera?
Right now?
You as a human, like just
yeah.
What if there's things that I make you feel that you don't like that I make you feel,
Yeah.
and you know that I would never want to make you feel that way.
Yes.
Okay, what comes to mind?
Priority.
Okay.
That's one we fall into sometimes.
Okay, so you don't feel like my top priority or a high priority.
High, yeah.
Okay, and that makes you feel almost like rejected, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would want to be brave enough as a husband to go, I don't ever want you to feel that. Like literally, I want you to know with me.
Yes.
So, what? No, I know you. I know
But
you.
I'm just saying now.
Yeah,
that
you
know
agree.
that.
Yeah, you do know that. But I don't want you to ever feel that. And if I ever do anything to make you feel that, if you say I'm feeling that, I would hope I would be brave enough to go, hold on. What do we have to do? What do I have to do to make sure that feeling is eliminated from you right now? And for you to really believe that, and to know, and I think I'm saying bravery for the man's heart, because he's going to have to realize that even if he didn't mean that, if that's the way she took it, he has to be willing to say, I want that to be the furthest thing from my wife to ever feel ever in her life. I want to eradicate that feeling from you forever. Because I know what that would be for me. And that would be like, if you rejected me for sex, I would be like, I feel rejected. And I would want you to run to my heart and go, no, my husband's never going to feel that. That's the furthest thing my husband would ever feel, and I'm going to make sure that never fucking happens. What do you need? I would want to say that as a husband to you. Whatever this is, if you could lay out the 3 times that it's happened and you tell me exactly, I'm going to this is how I would do it. This is the way I'm thinking. I'm going to study those 3 scenarios and get to the core of what the fuck that really is for you and for me. That's how I think that this should be handled. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean talk more and share your feelings without having your swords up and being defensive? And...
Yeah, but I think it's the yes, but it's the understanding of if a wife or a husband said, my spouse is never going to feel those things.
And it's because they're taking ownership of that and say, I don't want you to feel like that. So the other person knows for sure.
Yes.
They're on your team.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
100% yes, but I think there's a bonus question or a bonus point here.
Let me see.
And it's the you might still feel those things even if I'm perfect because you have your own hang up and hiccup and whatever, and I'm still going to see you in that light, and I'm still going to come rushing to your aid and go, oh, no, that wasn't even anything on me, but you still have this thing, and I hate that you feel that way. So I will do anything to make sure that you don't feel that way. Why are you giggling?
Because you said hang up, you won't say trigger, which is a trigger of our relationship, things like that, right?
What?
It would be a trigger. You don't like that word, though, so I laughed.
Oh, yeah. Hang up.
Hang up.
Hang up.
It's your hang up. No, when I say trigger, you're like...
There's sometimes shit that you and I do that...
Triggers.
It is my fucking hang up.
I know.
It's my hang up.
Yeah.
And but you didn't even do anything. You didn't do anything to trigger it. It could be my scenario, my situation. I've given the example of the hugging, right?
What?
Remember when I said, man, why are you getting bad at hugging? Like, you're not allowed to be a bad hugger. And you're like, dude, I don't want to get my makeup all over your shirt, and I don't want you to fucking, or ruin my makeup.
Yeah,
I was like,
face. Yeah.
That had nothing to do with you. That was my own hang up.
Yeah.
That was my own hang up.
Yep.
You didn't do anything necessarily to trigger. There's no triggering. You were just being in your own state of fucking consciousness and rightness. And that is, hey, can we not mess up my thing?
I mean, if you gave it would be like, whew.
Oh, bro, I would smother you.
You do. I know.
I'm a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And
so
that's what I'm talking about.
Get on the step.
Yeah.
Fixed everything.
So these hang-ups, this doesn't even necessarily have to be. Any dude could be sitting at this microphone and you go through that emotion and feeling just because it's in you. Well, I used to think as a husband, that shit would piss me off. Like, fix it. Fucking fix it. I'm tired of dealing with this shit. The more wise version of me goes, well, but it is on her, yes. But how can you run to her aid to help her get through it as a partner, not fucking talking down on her? That one's tougher for me.
When you told me I'm a bad hugger, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, just because of the face.
It's just my face.
No, you're a great hugger.
Yeah.
I might be.
You're better.
I'm a world-class hugger.
You can say it.
I'm a world-class hugger. All right.
Not for makeup. You're not. You're a terrible hugger with people with makeup on.
Unless you step up on a step.
There you go.
And then I put my head on your pillows and we just hug. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
Despite popular belief, infidelity is not the number one reason for divorce. The top reasons are A, lack of commitment, 73%. B, constant arguing, 56%. And C, financial stress, 37%. I think these are the top 3, and this is how many times they came up. Okay. So lack of commitment. I got to imagine that some sort of emotional safety, emotional component is probably in here and maybe lumped in with one of these. But despite popular belief, infidelity is not the number one reason for divorce. When you hear this, top reasons are lack of commitment, constant arguing, and financial stress. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction?
Yeah, this is a reaction show where I say something and you react.
I was petting Valentine.
Yeah, you.
I just was listening. Like,
yeah, yeah. Do you want to participate or what?
I guess not.
That's okay. We have empathy for you.
My reaction is that why is lack of commitment number one? I'm a little shocked by that, actually. Because people commit pretty easily. It's the sticking it through part. So I'm shocked and chagrined. What's your reaction?
Well, I wouldn't have
Despite
thought.
popular belief. That's funny too, because you would think that, I guess.
Yeah, here's what I would have thought. I wouldn't have thought infidelity is number one reason for a divorce.
What would you think number one is? Fighting.
It would be. See, this is where I have questions about this stat.
I know.
Is this women? Is this men and women? If it's women, I don't think these numbers stay the same. I think if this is women, the top reasons for any woman leaving a man across the board would be lack of emotional connection. Because when I was out there dancing my ass off on the floor and talking to all these women and whatever, guess what one topic of conversation I'm having with all of them?
What?
Relationships.
Oh, right.
I never met a woman that's not a relationship expert.
I know, right?
So it was just talk about relationships. And the number and the thing that always comes up is emotional, the ability to emotionally connect, almost without fail. The ability to emotionally connect.
So it would be communication and through the fighting, there's no communication, lack thereof.
Yeah, constant arguing. Why do you think people argue? Like, what do you think they boiled down to?
Because they have different opinions and they have to be right, and you have to believe what I'm thinking. That's my reaction.
Yeah, that's.
I'm back in it.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're getting somewhere here.
So stupid.
Constant arguing and financial stress, 37%. I would say financial stress is probably. I would have thought that would have been higher. Only just sadly because most modern day humans aren't really that good with money, and that's sad. I wonder if lack of commitment. What do you think? Let's call on Jordan. Jordan, what's your take on it? Am I reading this right? Lack of
Yes,
commitment?
he said yes.
This is why this is exactly what you wanted to have happen, isn't it? Good. He wants to throw us curveballs and see if we can hit him out of the park.
Is he lying? He's lying to us on these numbers.
I'm going to say something even more shocking back. That despite popular belief, infidelity is not the number one reason for divorce, but I bet you infidelity is the number one reason for a lot of transformation in people's lives. That's probably true. When somebody has the rug pulled out from them like that, when there's a total violation of trust, I found that makes a person start to look back in on themselves deeper than almost anything else. And
Wow.
They start to ask, like, how could it? I think there's a number of ways they ask, or a number of things they ask. How could this have happened to me? And maybe some other things. But I think the most constructive thing for a human to do when they go through that is like, what am I learning about myself? And because we have a lot of guys that have been cheated on that come into the program, and they have to they own the fact that they have to first own the fact that they were a part of that relationship. Yeah. And so that woman felt some desire, some need to go do that thing. It's really, there are women that kind of want multiple men and stuff, but it's actually pretty rare. A woman wants to like really love that one man and just make him feel like the happiest man on planet Earth. So anytime a guy says that his wife cheated on me, I know 99% of the time he was the reason for it. He was the cause. But there are some girls that are just total fucking hoes. Yeah. And they're just bad humans. Maybe there's more than 1% of them are that. But I would say that the guy has to start asking himself, like, there was a reason she was looking for that thing elsewhere. And I think he starts there. So I think that a lot of men who have been cheated on, they in the same vein, though it's not the same, when a girl leaves a guy, cheated or not, he's feeling, it's a level of rejection that's so high that it causes him to just go in and go, either this was the worst thing that ever happened to me, or this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's a gift.
It's either a gift or it's not. And the guys that...
I think either way, you learn a lot.
Well, if you decide to receive it as a gift, it's the gift that never stops giving. That's what I've learned. You leaving me was the greatest thing that ever happened. And so a lot of times when guys will come in here, they're like, she cheated or she left or she did this or whatever. And I tell them it's hard for me to not like start rejoicing with them in some ways.
Oh, wow.
Because I go, oh, there's no other way you would have ever paid attention to any of this unless this happened to you.
And do you want her just staying in that relationship being miserable? No.
Yeah, that's you speak as somebody who has more awakening than what most people have. I think
because I do, sweetie.
You do.
Yeah. Because we had been through that.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Imagine saying that you believe the life is normal when you have a body that you're radically proud of and that works optimally well. You have a marriage that is so fucking fun and so fulfilling. Yes, it has its issues, but for 99% of it, it's just it's all the joy you expected. You have a business that you feel radically passionate about. It's super exciting to go be a part of, and you go and that you look at your life as a being of service to others, and that you can have all the best things that you could ever want. You and I think, yeah, that's right. There was a version of you and I way back when that thought, that person's insane. That's not even possible.
Well, yes, there was a version until I got to a point where I was like, that is what I want. So I have to leave. It got me to look at those things.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That is due to an awakening. Like an awareness that is expanded to go, yeah, this is right.
Also unfair is that we were kind of born with this wanting a lot in life. So we're not going to settle. I think that's we're born like that, you and I. Right? There also has the awakening with it and all the things that we've been through to get here. But you and I are still people that we made the decisions when you left your ex-wife and the life that you lived before you met me is a version of you that will never settle for but the best naturally anyways.
Yeah.
Until we had a terrible relationship and I left you and then you're like, oh yeah, awakened again.
Yeah. Not everybody experiences that.
No.
Hopefully
they receive those things as a gift
Yeah.
to open their eyes.
That's usually the beginning of the eye-opening experience. You look at this really bad thing that's got you either feeling like a victim or feeling sad or feeling violated, and you are those things from one angle. But if you look at it from another angle, you'll find that it's way more empowering. So if you go, oh, Jesse left me, I and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because now
you didn't turn into a victim. You learned from it.
Exactly. That's usually where like you leaving me was the awakening. So when guys come in here, they go, my wife cheated or my wife left or I haven't been laid in 4 years or whatever it is. It's like, oh, thank God you are now aware that this is an actual fucking problem.
How rude of you. I'm hanging up.
Yeah.
But you're like happy for them.
They get it. I go, and I feel their pain. But inside I go, this dude is 90 days away from being set free from all of this bullshit.
Right.
All of it. And when you're set free from something, and this is what I've been on a really big Wayne Dyer kick lately, and every day I listen to him, even though this is the fourth time me reading his book, it's called the Great Library of Wayne Dyer. He has this chapter in there which is called the 4 words. And the 4 words are, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Because it's my take on it, right? So
it's his version of it. I know, right?
You're right.
And you're not wrong.
Yeah. You're right about that.
I just started listening to this individual, and it's like every chapter he's explaining my life back to me about things I've already figured out, but I'm hearing him from a dude that sold 35 million fucking books and was a spiritual liberator of humans for over 75 years.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, here's the chapter. Here's how I respond to everybody. Critics, people, my wife, whatever. I used to want to make sure her wrong. And he would put it to us. And he goes, I literally go,
you're right about that.
You're probably right about it. You're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Love that emotional stability.
You're right about that.
It's so attractive.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I know.
And I was like, that's our move.
Yeah.
But I'm like, let me try that.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
You pulled that on me earlier for something.
You're right about that. Well, I probably told you you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I probably told you, I know, right? but
that's your take.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective.
That's your version. Those are all the things.
But this one, you're right about that, is always true. Because you are right about it to you.
Right.
And he gave this example. I got to give this example. And he said, we had a party and there's people come over. Oh, you should have the candles over here and you should do this and you should that. He goes, you're right about that. And like, oh, so, okay, so you agree? He goes, yeah, you're right about that. We probably should move those over there. Probably. Like, oh, so you're going to do that for your next party? He goes, no. But you're right about that. We should do that.
Well, there you go. You can't argue with someone who says anything like that.
There's this awakening that happens to a human being when they actually don't care if the other person thinks they're right or not.
Yeah.
So we have these people that come on, like...
When will you learn to do it like him and not like you?
Well, because I think he could learn a few things from me. Is that what you're saying? Where am I going to teach him my moves?
No, vice versa.
Wow, dude, look at you.
Yours comes with a little snarky tone sometimes.
You're right about that.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for validating me.
You are right about that, though.
I know.
So, and also right about that.
Let me do that. I want to do that.
You want to do that? Go ahead, flick it into the camera. There we go.
That was...
You're right about that.
End the show, Yaki.
All right, so this guy, he talks about this awareness and this awakening and that you are on the path where you're at. I agree with that. And there's guys that even if they hang out with us, if they don't really know this stuff, you can learn the language pretty clearly. But what is your problem?
I don't know. Why were you smiling?
Because you're cute. Guy can't smile at his cute wife?
No, you were smiling, so it made me laugh.
All right.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to the sushi place afterwards that you're trying to...
Get out of here. I don't have time.
Yeah, you do. All right. This awakening where you go, okay, there's all these knuckleheads on the internet. Some of these guys that are the most contemptuous and talk the most shit in comments about what we say about marriage haven't been laid in years.
Isn't that crazy? That's wild.
What's even wilder is that I would even get worked up about what they say.
Yes, you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned this a while back when I say, hey, I'm rooting for you. Hey, keep shining. Hey, keep going. Keep telling your truth. Like whatever it is, you're on your path. Yeah. But there's things that I would have said about me 10 years ago. The version of me 10 years ago would not have understood this guy. I wouldn't have.
That's great. Because you learned so much.
Well, that's what you and I believe because we're awakened. You're right about that.
I'm all positive over here.
Guess what? No shit is the same thing as you're right about that.
You know what you do lately?
No shit. What?
See?
Just
to be
that one's
silly.
been fun. Yeah. See? It feels good to read and listen and hear from somebody that in his 70s was preaching these things after having lived a long, really full, beautiful life. And to go, that's exactly what I learned this last year.
That's great.
It's almost like these teachers show up to keep you on the path that you're on. Like, hey, you're on the right path, man. You're on the right path. Just keep going. One of my best friends, Dan, the other day, we were FaceTiming, he goes, you're on the right path, man. Mm-hmm. It's just these little things that go, 10 years ago, you didn't understand you. I had dinner with a friend of mine recently, and I go, none of this shit made sense 2 years ago to you. And he goes, I didn't understand the thing you were saying. And I go, but how about now? He goes, your word is like scripture.
Wow.
Your words are like scripture. I got
chills for you.
It's this, unless you are going through this, we look like crazy humans.
Yeah.
But if you're going through this, you go, how do they know exactly what's happening? That's going to be the way it is forever. Mm-hmm. So if you hate us, which is nobody on this show, so we're not even going to talk. Why would anybody hate us? Hey, we're going to teach you how
I don't even care.
Hey, we're going to teach you how to have a great marriage. You're doing it wrong.
That's what people do.
Oh my God. Okay. So anyhow.
How dare you?
How dare you do it? Whatever. How dare you be so happy?
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you be so happy?
That's
you don't
exactly
believe what we believe. Mm-hmm. And we're miserable, so you should be miserable too.
My favorite one is, they fight? Oh, how could they fight?
Yeah.
Like we're not, like we're God or something. Anyways.
Yeah, everybody fights.
I know.
It's fun to fight sometimes.
Is it?
Well, you got to collide a little bit to figure out what's going on. I'm going to step over your boundaries. You step over mine. And we just go, hey, that's not...
I don't think it's fun. That's just my take.
Okay, cut that out. Here we go.
Cut it out.
And you're right about that.
I know. Thank you.
Hey, if you've been watching this, listening to this, and you're going, man, I want that free-flowing conversation with my wife. I want to be able to laugh and giggle, call each other out, say stupid shit, and all the other things. If you want to be that husband that can truly say, hey, I'm living at a really high standard, regardless of her response, so that you can look in the mirror and know that you're that guy, all you got to do is go to marriedgame.com. We'll show you exactly how. We have a very proven, very specific process on exactly how to become this. And what's interesting is if you look in the medical world, this is a very interesting thing. If you look in the medical world, on this perspective, let's say on this here on the continuum, you've got point A, which is all sorts of symptoms of disease. Point B, no symptom. Point C, full max potential health. Okay? Almost all medical work is done between A and B. Let's get rid of your symptoms so you have no symptoms. You're not anywhere close to max potential of your health, but we've fixed the symptoms so you can, normally with short-term pills, potions, and lotions, right? Boom, A to B. Most people only pay attention to health when B goes to A. Most people in relationships do the same thing. They only are looking to a psychologist, a coach, to get rid of the symptoms of suck so they can get back to normal. But the real high performer, the real person that gives a shit about experiencing the quality of life that they want to have, they go, I don't have any symptoms necessarily. Bad shit goes wrong here and there, but I want to be living at my max potential marriage where I'm talking to my wife about my fantasies, where I'm talking to my wife candidly about shit, where we're open about talking about whatever it is. We can laugh, cajole, all the other things. That's way on this side of the spectrum. That's for high performers. So yeah, if you got horrible symptoms in A and we need to get you to B, great. But there's a lot of you fuckers out there that don't have symptoms, but you're not satisfied. You haven't maxed out your potential of where your marriage is, which if you haven't maxed out the potential of your marriage means you haven't maxed out your potential of your impact with your marriage, and you haven't maxed out the pleasure and fulfillment that you could be having, and that's where you see the gap is. Well, we help guys with that all the time. In fact, that is actually my favorite shit to do. Yes, we want to get your dick wet if you're not getting your dick wet and pull you out of that pit. But where you're going is a mountain with no top. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. Even Jesse and I, with this shitty situation that happened the last few days, even us, it put us at like odds. And we were mad at each other for a little bit, for sure. It caused us to be able to grow. So this, our max potential for our marriage, it just expanded a little bit more. Why? Because we got to collide a little bit, have an open dialogue where we can feel safe and chat with things. Hey, this bothers me. This is my boundary. This doesn't make me feel good. ... Oh, shit. Well, I don't want you to feel that. She doesn't want me to feel that. So now we can expand our potential. It's a very long way of saying a very short thing, that if you're not excited exactly where you're at in your marriage, there's open growth for it. Don't just be the person that spends money, time, or energy from A to B, but be the guy that invests from B to C and watch where you can go. You can do that by going to marriedgame.com. And as always, always, don't forget, please remember, keep crushing it because that shit is contagious.